Hello everyone, we're here at the White House today for a very unique event, an exclusive interview with President Obama in which the questions come from American people who've submitted them and chosen them online. My name is Steve Grove and I'm the head of news and politics at YouTube. Mr. President, thank you for taking time to answer these questions today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me, and thanks to YouTube for doing this. We had a chance to do this before I was elected and had a great time, so I'm glad we can do it again.
Great. Well, let's tell people a little bit about how this works. 5 days ago, as you were delivering your State of the Union address, we opened up our moderator platform on YouTube, where thousands of people have been submitting and voting on both video and text questions. Some of them, as you'll see, were hard-hitting, others were emotional, some were even funny. But all of the questions you'll see here today were voted into the top tier of the thousands of questions we received, and none of them have been chosen by the White House or seen by the President. So this should be a lot of fun. We know the central focus of your State of the Union was obviously jobs, and a lot of people wrote in asking for some clarity around some of your plans for small businesses. Yep. I'm going to play you 2 video questions in a row.
Good evening, President Obama. 1 year ago today, my wife and I were both let go from our jobs in corporate America within 48 hours of each other. We've since started a small business, and we employ a couple of people around us. What is being done to free up funding and encourage the growth of other small businesses that have such a tremendous impact on our economy? Thank you.
Colin Callahan, Costa Mesa, California. Mr. President, how exactly are you planning on helping small businesses grow and prosper, besides simply providing tax breaks?
Well, let me start with some specific issues that confront every small business all across the country. And it's absolutely true that if we can get small businesses back on their feet, then that's going to go a long way towards bringing the unemployment rate down, because that's the fastest generator of jobs across the country. Number one, small businesses really are still struggling with financing. You hear stories everywhere you go that even profitable, successful businesses are having trouble getting financing because banks, frankly, just don't want to take the risk. After having taken way too many risks before, now they're taking no risk, and small businesses are punished for that. So we've expanded the SBA loan, the Small Business Administration loan portfolio, by about 70%. We've been waiving guarantees and fees, trying to streamline the process just to get more capital into the hands of small businesses. That's point number one. Point number two, then, are the tax breaks that were alluded to. It is important to see if we can give more incentives to small business. So, for example, we're just eliminating capital gains for small businesses, which is particularly important if you've got a startup. 10 years from now, you may end up being successful with your small business, but suddenly you've got to pay taxes on it. If you can take that money and instead of paying Uncle Sam, reinvest it in your business, you can grow it further. So we think that that's the kind of strategy that makes a lot of sense. We want to also make sure that we're providing tax credits for hiring of small businesses that are hiring new employees.
Right.
And so we've got a whole range of proposals there.
Great. Well, let's move back to the questions. And I got to tell you, the number one question that came in the jobs and economy category had to do with the internet. And it came from James Earlywine in Indianapolis. He said, an open internet is a powerful engine for economic growth and new jobs. Letting large companies block and filter online content and services would stifle needed growth. What is your commitment to keeping the internet open and neutral in America?
Well, I'm a big believer in net neutrality. I campaigned on this. I continue to be a strong supporter of it. My FCC chairman, Julius Genachowski, has indicated that he shares the view that we've got to keep the internet open, that we don't want to create a bunch of gateways that prevent somebody who doesn't have a lot of money but has a good idea from being able to start their next YouTube or their next Google on the internet. So this is something we're committed to. We're getting pushback, obviously, from some of the bigger carriers who would like to be able to charge more fees and extract more money from wealthier customers. But we think that runs counter to the whole spirit of openness that has made the internet such a powerful engine for not only economic growth, but also for the generation of ideas and creativity.
Well, you know, to get good jobs, I think many Americans realize they need a higher education, but college tuition costs are so high. Here is a video question from Saginaw, Michigan.
Dear President Obama, as a college student who has 14 credits and 3 part-time jobs, just was wondering, what are your plans for plans to lower college tuition costs? I know we're in a struggling economy right now, but any little bit that you can help would be appreciative. Thank you. God bless. Bye.
Well, John's right that college tuition costs are just crushing on a lot of folks, and this is something I remember from my own experience because Michelle and I, we had college loans we kept on paying off for a decade after we had graduated from law school. We've already done a huge amount to increase Pell Grants, to help increase the accessibility of college loans and grants at the college level, but we want to do more. And so we've put forward an initiative that is being debated in Congress, and we hope to get passed this year, where if you have student loans, that you will not have to pay more than 10% of your income on those loans, that after 20 years they'll be forgiven, and if you've gone into public service, they'll be forgiven after 10 years. That would provide a huge amount of relief for people. We still need to expand more the Pell Grant program, make it both accessible to more people and raise the amount of tuition. In order to pay for this, the best part of this is we can actually figure out how to pay for it, because right now you've got a lot of banks and financial service companies who are still middlemen in the federally guaranteed loan programs. And if we can cut those middlemen out, then you've got several $billions that you can invest in the programs that I just described. This is something that I've made a top priority. I want us to once again have the highest college graduation rates of any country in the world by 2020. We can get that done, but this is legislation that needs to pass. And the last point I would make, colleges and universities also, though, have to figure out how can they cut their costs. Because even if we're putting more and more loans in, more and more money for loans, if the inflation in higher education keeps on skyrocketing, over time it's still going to gobble up all that extra money and we'll be right back where we started. So we've got to show more restraint at the college and university level in terms of ever-escalating costs.
Well, let's back up a bit just from the specifics of education policy and ask a more fundamental question, which comes from Sean in Ohio.
Mr. President, what do you want public education to help students become? Should they be good workers, innovative thinkers, something else?
I think, obviously, there's a huge economic component to being well educated. We know that if you've got a college education, you're going to make multiples of what you would make as a high school graduate, much less a high school dropout over the course of a lifetime. But it's absolutely true that a high-quality education is not just a matter of being a good worker. It's also a matter of being a good citizen. It's also a matter of being able to think critically, evaluate the world around you, make sure that you can process all the information that's coming at us in a way that helps you make decisions about your own life, but also helps you participate in the life of the country. And I'm a big believer that the most important thing that a kid can learn in school is how to learn and how to think. Malia and Sasha, my two daughters, are asking questions, know how to poke holes in an argument, know how to make an argument themselves, know how to evaluate a complicated bunch of data, then I figure that they're going to be okay regardless of the career path that they're in. And I think that that requires more than just rote learning, although it certainly requires good habits and discipline in school. It also requires that in the classroom they're getting the kind of creative teaching that's so important. And that's why our administration's initiated something called Race to the Top, where my Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan, has helped to design a competition among states so that they can foster the kinds of excellence in learning everywhere, not just in some schools, not just in some states, but in every school in every state. If states want money, we're going to reward excellence, and we will show them what has been proven to work in terms of encouraging the kind of critical thinking that all of our children need.
I think we're out of time, but I know a lot of people really enjoyed the opportunity to ask questions of you in this way and would love to do this again with you sometime.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you could do for your country. Have you thought about it? What you can do? Not much.
You do. you recycle,
Diddly squat.
you take the bus. I've seen you.
And I work and I pay taxes too, but it's the big things, the economy, healthcare, the security of the nation.
I don't think there's a thing we can do for our country.
Yes, we can.
The opportunity to learn.
We were going to create the next wave of entrepreneurs in this country at a time where if there's no entrepreneurs created, this country is in big trouble.
The timing is perfect. People are open and ready and willing.
I feel blessed, honored, and privileged. Aaron and Jay, just thank you so much.
Off the hook, man. It's off the hook. These people care. They really care about your future.
I love Carbon Copy Pro.
I'm going to go home and make $1 million.
That's really what Carbon Copy Pro is about.